Greetings. Father Mark signing on, continuing the course on the patristic period, Fathers of the Church, moving into this session with covering Pope 22, Saint Lucius I, reigned from the 25th of June, 253, through the 5th of March, 254. When Pope Cornelius died and was murdered, the anti-pope Novatian and his followers continued to maintain the schism. Novatian had hoped that he would simply be recognized as the legitimate pope, but he was not. Cornelius was followed as the 22nd pope by another Roman-born priest, St. Lucius. He was arrested almost immediately under the auspices of the same Emperor Gallus, Gallus, that had arrested and murdered Cornelius. In the same year, 253, Lucius was arrested on June 25th, 253. In the same year, the Roman governor of Lower Mysia, that's the province at the intersection of the Danube River and the Black Sea, led his troops in a revolt that succeeded in overthrowing and executing Gallus. The new emperor was Marcus Aemilianus, better known as Aemilian. He reversed the policy of his predecessor and enemy, so Christian prisoners were released from prison, including Pope St. Lucius. The issue of the lapsed arose again because there were many who had apostatized in prison but were not released. Pope Lucius reaffirmed the teaching of the Church that all could be forgiven for one who had repented. He wrote, quote, "When these had done penance, they were not to be denied the enjoyment of communion and reconciliation." The new emperor Aemilian, it's spelled Aemilian, sent word to the commander of the legions on the Rhine River to come to Italy in order to help him stabilize the situation. Both of them, Aemilian and this commander, whose name was Valerian, had been protégés of the former Emperor Decius from early, before Decius was emperor. Essentially they were army buddies, and they shared the emperor's aversion to Christianity. The other guy he sent for help to was Publius Licinius Valerianus, so he's better known as Valerian, Valerian. By the time Valerian arrived in Rome, the Emperor Aemilian had been assassinated 118 days after he, Aemilian, had murdered his predecessor, Gallus. So Valerian's troops proclaimed him emperor. And Valerian returned to the policy of Decius regarding enforced and certified conformity to Roman religion, which meant a renewal of persecution, described by Eusebius in the Ecclesiastical History, Book 7, Chapter 10. The Liber Pontificalis tells us that the Pope was, his family was from Tuscany. He was a son. His family was from Tuscany, but his father was Rome. So that his father moved the family from Tuscany to Rome. And so that's where the Pope was born. And let's see, he was martyred by beheading. And we're told, the LP tells us that while he was on his way to his passion, he said to, before those who were present, whom he knew were Christians, but did not, say it specifically to anyone, but loud enough for them to hear, that he gave authority, that essentially he appointed one of the deacons, Stephen, to be the next pope. Before his final capture and murder, the LP tells us that he held 2 ordinations in the month of December, ordaining 4 priests 4 deacons, and 7 bishops, continuing the apostolic succession. That his remains were eventually interred in the catacombs of St. Callistus, and that the remains were interred on August 25th. So he was martyred on March 5th, and by the time they got his remains and put him in the catacombs, it was August 25th. And as I said, prior to his murder, he appointed the next pope, Pope 23, who became Pope Saint Stephen I. So we will pause here and pick up with Pope Stephen next time, who will take longer because we have more sources about his correspondence with Cyprian over the Novatian issue, and then more about a whole other thing, which is the rebaptism controversy. So stay tuned. That's coming up next. For the moment, thank you for your attention. This session is adjourned.